Hello, authors, book lovers, and storytellers, and welcome to another exciting episode of Reader's Magnet Featured Author Interview, where we dive deep into the world of creativity and inspiration. And it is my privilege to introduce our guest for today, a Dr. Kizito Osudibia, the author of the book Religion and the Global Resurgence of Violence, Connection of the Abrahamics. So, Dr. Kizito, welcome to the Hive. How are you doing today?
Thank you, and I'm fine. I hope you're doing good too.
Thank you very much for asking. So, please, Dr. Kizito, please introduce yourself to all our viewers and tell us, what is your book all about?
Yeah, you already mentioned my name, Kizito Osudibia. By the way, I'm a priest of the Catholic Church, so I wonder why that is not recognized in the. My book, Religion and the Global Resurgence of Violence, is a product of many years of reflection. You know, I came from Nigeria, a region that was sometimes beleaguered with religious violence. You know, I wouldn't like to lay the blames on one denomination, but sorry to say that always at the instigation of one denomination. You know, and then I started my research. You know, why we are living in one country, we are supposed to be brothers and sisters, so why killing one other religion? So started looking into deep to find out, did any founder of this religion or religions encourage violence, or you know? And then I went beyond my country when I came to America. Of course, I came to America in the post 9/11 incident.
Oh.
So I started studying that one also. I saw religious connotations, especially when Osama bin Laden responded to Bush's declaration of war. You know, invoking the hand of Allah on the attack. That kind of, I couldn't understand it, you know. So I continued my researches, and it gave birth to that book. That's the long and short of, you know, the story of that book, you know. So while I was doing my first doctorate research, because I wrote something about ethnic politics. So again, along my research, I encountered some religious factors in the forming of some nationalities also, which were not very good and are still not very good, because they are the basis of religious violence and violence in the country till today. So you see, all these things gathered to a head and led to the writing of that book.
Oh, okay. So again, so Dr. Kizito, talking about your book, that you did you did your research, had try to check it out, and even got proof as well. But just want, because I'm talking about your book, because in your book you emphasize the violence perpetrated in the name of religion, particularly within the Abrahamic faith. What do you believe are the root cause of this violence, and how can religious leaders begin to address these underlying issues then?
Yeah, thank you for that question, and thank you for mentioning religious leaders, because it does seem that the whole thing boils down to the religious leaders. You know, so when you talk about violence perpetrated by religion, even though it is not the religious leaders that are at the forefront, but they are at the root cause of all this. You know, catechesis is one of them.
Okay.
They either miscatechize, or they fail to catechize properly their people, you know. And then you see some of them are bigots too. Some of these religious leaders, not all of them. Some are bigots. They will rather go to war in order to defend their faith than to be persuasive or dialogical about any problem. Some of the ayatollahs in the past are known for war,
Okay.
religious war. If you go back to history, you will see some uh, jihadists who propagates the jihad in the first place. It is the leaders. You see what I'm saying? And then you come to the other Abrahamic religions, for instance. Some are unyielding. Um, some also are very, should I say, they are bigot also. They are bigoted because they wouldn't like to, uh, uh, like give in to dialogue. So they want their people to either be proactive or reactive. You know,
Oh.
these things are they are clear evidence in the book. You will find them. I I I didn't mince words, neither did I hide anything. I laid out my research. It's very clear. You will see cases where religious leaders either directly or indirectly, supported their people to
Oh.
violence. Like in the case of Ireland, Northern Ireland. And
Okay.
so these are all cases in point.
So I'm talking about, because again, talking about some religious leaders that indirectly or directly causing this though. And again, you told me earlier though, as you discussed about so denominational religions though. So again, you discussed both interdenominational and intra denominational violence with Abrahamic religions as what's on your book. Could you elaborate on how these forms of violence differ? And what steps do you think can be taken with each denomination to foster peace then, if that would
All
be the
right,
case?
all right. If I got you right, let's just take it this way. When I
Sure.
say intra-denominational,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, let's take the Catholic Church for instance. I'm a Catholic priest, so let's take the Catholic Church for instance.
Okay.
If violence is perpetrated here in the Catholic Church, that is intra.
Mm.
You understand? But if it spills over to other Christian denominations, like say the Episcopalian or Lutherans, then that is
Mm.
interdenominational.
Okay.
You understand?
Oh, good, good.
So in the Catholic faith, um, sorry to say that is not what it appears to be. Some in most cases, as an insider, I
Mm-hmm.
have I am a victim myself of the excesses of authorities.
Mm.
Before I came to America. You know,
Oh, okay.
so um, uh, sometimes what are the causes of this intra
Militia.
violence,
Mm-hmm.
intra-denominational violence?
Mm-hmm.
Authorities will always like to blame you for everything. You are
Mm-hmm.
disobedient, you are this, you are that.
Mm.
Uh, the whole thing will always come down to some uh, allegations of either disobedience or recalcitrant to
Mm.
authority, one thing or the other. So this can spill over to other religions too.
Mm.
You know, so if somebody can treat you shabbily, you know,
Okay.
assuming I'm a bishop, then I treat my priest or a member of my church,
Mm-hmm.
uh, shabbily, treat him violently. What is what makes you think that I cannot do that to somebody who doesn't belong to my? to my faith.
True.
You see what
I
I'm
agree.
saying?
Yeah, yeah. I
So
agree with
that
that.
is exactly what I'm saying. A lot of things I've seen, a lot of things, even in the religious institutions. The superiors, some of them overstep their bounds, and then the fact that our people, especially the third world countries, because coming to America, I've seen that these things are not common. You know,
Okay.
they're not common in America. They're not common in civilized worlds, in advanced polities. It is when you go to developing countries that you see most of these things happening. And like I said, they spill over. Now, if you cannot handle internal conflict, how
Mm-hmm.
can you handle external conflict?
Agree. Makes sense. Makes sense. 100% makes sense when
So
it
these are
comes
the
with that.
things. These are the things my research came up with, and
Hmm.
these are the things I have published in
And,
this book, just for the
hmm,
world to see,
good.
because the
And
truth has to be told someday.
I agree. I agree with that. And again, as someone who has through did research when it comes with religious no violence, again talking about spillovers, talking about within these faiths as well. Just one quick question, because again, talking about your book as well, what do you hope your work will have? What like what are you expecting that your book can help when it comes with both religious communities and the wider world? Like, do you envision any immediate changes in how religious violence is discussed and addressed? Then, like, does
Yeah,
your book tackle these topics and trying to
yeah,
find a way on how to solve it?
it does. It does. The
Hmm.
changes might not be immediate.
Okay.
The changes might take time, but that's why it's there in the book. I love
Mm.
books. I prefer it. So that's why the research is there for people to read now, in the nearest future, in the remote future. You
Mm.
understand? The solution might not come immediately, but let
Mhm.
it be known that identifying a problem is a first step towards solving that problem. You
I
understand?
agree.
So
And
now, with the problems known as written in that book, with all these problems known, you know, jealousy, um rivalry among authorities, or even
mhm,
leadership puzzles, both intra. Remember, we are discussing two things: intra
yes.
and inter.
Hmm.
And then, with all, I mean, with all the problems exposed, I think that we are uh, in the right step and on the first step towards the solution of the problem of religious or violence perpetrated by religion, or
Hmm.
violence uh, that is uh, perpetrated in the name of religion, either in the name of religion or use
Hmm.
religion to
Yeah.
perpetrate violence.
Mm.
Uh-huh. So, because some people will tell you we must maintain the hegemony,
Mm.
and in order to do that, if it is war or fighting that will can sustain that, we have to do it. No, we don't
Mm.
have to do that, because religion should be the first and the last bus stop of peace.
I agree with that. And yeah, I totally agree with that. Because again, religion can be viewed as something, as a safe haven for people who want to aim for peace. And yes, it should be the stop for people if ever want to go for, I want to have peace within them. Religion should be that stop that they should have. And Dr. Kizito, just one quick question though, before we wrap this interview up. Just beyond the theological and doctrinal discussions that we're having right now, is there a practical solution that you can suggest for religious communities to implement locally to reduce violence and promote peaceful coexistence then?
Yes, I will emphasize dialogue. Anybody whose ox is God should seek redress through dialogue, instead
Hmm.
of loud noise that could lead to conflicts, that could lead to war. You know,
Hmm.
so always try to uh, bring the other parties to
Hmm.
dialogue. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? There is this. There is this song, "Peace of Mind is all we want." Peace of mind, that's all we want. Everybody,
Yes.
even the most violent person will, you
Yes.
if you interview the most violent person, you will find out that he or she loves peace also. Mm.
Agree with
So
that.
why don't we, if we can come to the round table after fighting to make peace, why don't we go to the round table to make peace before going to war? And if we go to the round table, then we don't have to go to war. So that is one, let there be that spirit of dialogue always. And when you talk about dialogue, dialogue calls for openness.
Hmm.
It's not where you have come up with already made answers and conclusions, and then you say you're dialoguing. No, you come with openness. Then I present my case with your openness of heart. You receive it and present your own perspective, and so forth. That is the way. That is dialogue is the basis. Then let's go back to the rudiments of our faith. What did our faith teach us? When Christ resurrected from the dead, when he went to his apostles, if you go to the New Testament, you will find out that before he said anything, it was peace. Peace be with you, peace be with you, peace be with you. You
Hmm.
know? And then the Muslims will tell you that, oh, Islam is a religion of peace. Eh?
Hmm.
Assalamu alaikum. What does that mean? Peace be with you, right? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
The Muslim, the Judaizers, shalom, 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 shalom is peace,
Okay.
right? Okay, so why can't we make use of all that? That is the basis of this book. That is the argument. Why can't we make use of all these points of agreement eh, to come together and make peace in the world, especially as these religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam combined together form more than half of the population of the world. At the time I made that research, the
Hmm.
population of the world was, I think, about 6 billion at the
Mm.
time of that research. Uh-huh. Christianity was leading. Christianity was leading with about 2 point something billion, then followed by uh, Islam,
Hmm.
which is about 1 point something billion, and then I think the third was actually Buddhism or so. Judaism came fourth. Judaism came fourth. But if you take it like the Abrahamics, then
Hmm.
Judaism came third. So now they form more than half of the world population. Now tell me, if more than half of the world population can be at peace, why can't they bring peace to the world? That is the whole essence of this book. That is the argument. That's the fulcrum on which this book was built.
Thank you very much for that. Once again, Dr. Kizito, just want to say though, what, everything you've said though is something that we can always ponder and look up into, and I really like the message that it's as easy as having a simple dialogue with each other before going to war can be the essence to really achieve peace. But again, it might not be happening immediately, but it would be happening soon as long as each and every one of us can really work together and try to see the other side of things. And
Correct.
yeah, I totally agree with that. And again, to all of our viewers and book lovers, if you want to know more about this book and you want to know more about Dr. Kizito's research, feel free to grab a copy of the book. Again, Religion and the Global Resurgence of Violence, Connection of the Abrahamics. Feel free to grab a copy. It's available through Amazon and Barnes and Noble. And Dr. Kizito, I just want to say thank you very much for joining us today and sharing your insights and views when it comes with this topic today. Really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
that.
me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Once again, though, this is Dr. Kizito Osudibia. Feel free to check out his book, again, available through Amazon and Barnes & Noble. And again, to all of our viewers, thank you very much for tuning in. And always remember that every ending is just a new beginning in the world of stories. May your reading adventures be endless and your imagination boundless. And as we say here at Reader's Magnet, we share your stories with the world. Thank you and have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.